Now, it's the opinion of many that sport is in a continual state of evolution, that the athletes are always getting better and stronger, and thus the performances they churn out are continually improving. If we're talking about something like sprinting, then I very much do agree with that. Sprinting is, compared to many other sports, pretty linear, and so the kind of training methods that have to be implemented and the track improvements and whatnot, it all tends to join together to create this steady incline of improvement. When we're talking about something like boxing, though, where you have the respective tactics and skills of the individual and their inherent intangibles, which can't really be measured, and pit them against somebody else, it creates for a very volatile sport that it's very hard to say whether it's improving or not. Now, we do have legends, the likes of Mike Tyson, who, despite how well he knew the old fighters, this is a guy who really studied the old guys and knew them well and has a lot of respect for the past. Recently, he was talking about how he said something along the lines of, you might not want to admit it, but these guys these days, that, athletes improve. He was alluding to the fact that he may be open to the fact that the guys of today might be just too much for the golden oldies of yesteryear. Now, you would get a lot of people disagreeing with that opinion, me for one of them, but some people would have you know that boxing was at its absolute best in the 1940s, when you had Ray Robinson, Ezra Charles, Archie Moore, Ike Williams, Henry Armstrong, when the participation levels were booming, when there were boxing gyms everywhere, when shows were held every week, and they would have some great stats there to back up that opinion. But I was just interested in that idea that some people do hold, of it just constantly getting better. And so I was looking at the ring ratings from 20 years ago, 1999, the April issue. And I was just looking at the top guys in each weight and comparing them to the guys of today. And I saw some interesting things like, say, well, there's no doubt the cruiserweights of today were better than the cruiserweights of 20 years ago. I think the cruiserweight division is kind of, after Holyfield, it was notoriously, well, I should say it was notorious for kind of having a lack of talent, really. The light heavyweight division, though, is interesting because I think with Kovalev, Bivol and Beterbiev, you've got more depth. But if I was to throw a 1999 Roy Jones in with them, I would have to favour Roy Jones to spank them just because he was so untouchable there. Not to reference his song, but he was such an amazing talent that I think the top guy there, despite the light heavyweight division not being as deep, I think Roy Jones takes him there. Joe Calzaghe at super middleweight, enough said. Now, a similar thing again at middleweight, Bernard Hopkins. The middleweight division wasn't particularly great then in 99. Today I actually think it's slightly deeper with Canelo, Golovkin, Jacobs, and then you got some other guys, Derevyanchenko's not bad, and Saunders when he's got his act together. But still, Hopkins was a massive middleweight, very tricky and very tough. I think Hopkins at his best, some people might not like it, gets the better of Golovkin and the rest of them as well. So again, the top guy for me there in 99 does trump the class of 2019. Welterweight's interesting. You got Oscar De La Hoya, Ike Quartey, and Trinidad, and then you've got Spence, Crawford, and Thurman today. The latter guys need to mix to really find out. Lightweight, Sugar Shane Mosley and Vasily Lomachenko. Now, Lomachenko for me is more skillful than Sugar Shane Mosley, but Mosley was a beast at lightweight. He had a real hammer of a right hand. So, who would win that one? That's a tough one. Floyd Mayweather was ruling the rooster super feather in 99, which first weight, and he was a monster at that weight. And then again, the featherweight division, I would say, is deeper today. Santa Cruz, Josh Warrington, Gary Russell Jr., Oscar Valdez. But Naseem Hamed back in 99. I think of how hittable the likes of Santa Cruz is. I reckon Hamed would get most of those guys out of there. So again, the top guy in 99 takes out the class of 2019. Mark Too Sharp Johnson was really good back in the day. Rungvisai and Estrada, though, that's pretty even there. And then you got Ricardo Lopez right at the bottom of 1999. It was destroying everyone at the lower weights. So, a lot of good talents today, but just looking at those top guys, yeah, it's kind of with the benefit of hindsight. We saw these guys retire, so we can properly weigh them. But if anyone's of the belief that boxing is continually getting better, comparing 2019 to 1999, it isn't the best example.